Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan. I'm a CPA, and today I'm going to be talking about your tax refunds, when you should expect it, what is it, should you really be excited about it, and all that crap. But first, wanted to thank you for watching this video, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel because I will be giving lots and lots of good information, hopefully, that will be helpful to you. All right, so first, let's start off. What is a tax refund? Generally, for most people, a tax refund is when you paid too much taxes throughout the year, and when you file your taxes, you find out you actually owe less than you actually paid, and so you're getting back some money that you prepaid. So how do you pay this money? Well, if you have a W-2 job and you take a salary, usually your job withholds your income tax for your federal and for your states, if it applies to you, and they withhold it from your paycheck and they pay it to the IRS and to the states. These withholdings are generally just estimates, so people try to do their best on withholding an accurate amounts, and obviously once you get through the year, you file your taxes, you figure out what your tax liability is based on your income, based on your personal deductions, maybe your business deductions, other various tax credits. You get to your final tax liability number. If that's less than what you paid throughout the year, you're getting a tax refund, okay? So for most people, it really shouldn't be that exciting of a thing. It just means that you paid the government too much money ahead of time, okay? For other people, a tax refund could be a big deal because sometimes tax refunds stem from refundable credits, refundable tax credits. Some common ones that people really take advantage of, the majority of people who take tax credits are usually taking tax credits on the child tax credit and the earned income credit. Both of those are refundable credits. So refundable credits mean that you get that money back from the IRS even if you don't owe any taxes. So if your credit is even greater than your tax liability, then you're still getting the full credit back to you. That's what a refundable credit means. A non-refundable credit means that you will receive a tax credit only to the extent of the tax liability that you have. Generally, most people getting refunds, it's because they withheld too much money from their paychecks or paid too much throughout the year, so they're just getting that money back. Shouldn't be looked at as a bonus. It just means you're getting your money back, okay? And for others, it might be because of some refundable tax credits. And so in that case, it might be more of like a bonus, but I would advise that you don't depend on it or rely on your tax refund for basic necessities. All right, so let's take a little deep dive into refundable credits. First is the child tax credit. In 2021, the child tax credit was expanded pretty significantly. People were getting advanced child tax credits, and that credit was actually way higher than it is now. Right now, it's $2,000 per qualifying child, and a qualifying child is somebody who is your child who is under the age of 17. So if they're 0 to 16, they qualify as a qualifying child and a dependent. And so this credit is $2,000, all right? Up to $1,400 of it is refundable. And for low to moderate income folks, you will get an additional child tax credit, and that is worth even a little bit more money. So depending on what your income is, you're going to get a child tax credit. Some of it may be refundable, and you might get an additional child tax credit. Another tax credit for low to moderate income folks is the earned income credit, and this one is also a refundable credit. This is just a credit for basically the government's giving some assistance to people who don't make, who are low to moderate income. And the credit changes if you have more dependents. So, typically the more dependents you have, the larger the credit you're gonna have. Between the two of these credits, the child tax credit and the earned income credit, this could be a few $1,000s. So, if you're making $20,000 a year on a job and you have a kid and you provide half the support for the kid, obviously your tax liability on $20,000 is not going to be very high. It might be maybe $1,000, but you have the child tax credit, the additional child tax credit, and the earned income credit. You might be getting a $5,000 or $6,000 refund. So that's pretty significant for you. So yeah, it is kind of like a bonus, but hopefully you can use the money wisely. All right, so now we talked about what refunds are. Now I kind of want to talk about what you should do to maybe minimize the refunds, because in my opinion, that is the goal. The larger the refund you get, the more poorly I think you're doing your tax planning. So if you're getting huge refunds, tens of thousands of dollars, you're doing something wrong because you're paying too much money up front, and you should be paying less. And if this happens once in a while, it could be just a bad estimate, but if it's happening consistently, then you should really get your withholdings checked or your estimated tax payments checked. So if you have a W-2 salary, what you should do if you're getting large refunds each year is to check your withholdings and make sure you're withholding the correct amounts. If you're married, obviously you got to factor in your spouse's income as well. So both of you have to check your W-4 withholdings. If you find that your refundable credits are greater than your total tax liability for a consecutive number of years, you should probably change your withholdings for your federal income tax to 0. So you're withholding nothing because you're getting a larger tax credit than you actually owe money. So even if you withhold 0 taxes federally, you're still going to get a refund because of those tax credits. All right, now that we talked about what refunds are and what these credits are that could be causing these larger refunds, when can you be expecting your tax refunds? Obviously with the states, it all depends. Each state kind of varies. With the IRS, you can expect it in under 3 weeks if everything goes smoothly and if you are direct depositing your refunds. If you're trying to get your refund by a paper check, then it's going to take maybe 4 to 6 weeks longer. If you file your taxes really early on, like late January, the IRS didn't even really process your tax return, or they at least withheld your refunds until after February 15th, and that's because of the PATH Act. The PATH Act is a law called Protecting Americans Against Tax Hikes, and it's supposed to kind of help the IRS combat against tax credit fraud, mainly the additional child tax credit and the earned income credit. So they are holding tax returns until mid-February to double check all the data they have to make sure you are not fraudulently trying to claim these refundable credits to get larger refunds. They're also doing this to help kind of protect against identity fraud, because sometimes shitty people get a hold of your identity, file a fake tax return on your behalf, get those refunds deposited into their checking account, and then you see the shitty end of that, which is you got scammed and a fake tax return is filed under your name. With that being said, PATH Act just lifted. It's now February 17th today. So if you file your taxes early and you were expecting a refund, you should be seeing them come in real soon. And if you haven't filed your taxes yet, just expect maybe 3 weeks. If you did your tax return right and things go smoothly, be expecting a maximum of 3 weeks with the IRS. And then definitely just check with your state on that. I'm sure most states have a Where's My Refund tool, just like the IRS does. And I'll post that link in the description where you can check the status of your tax refunds. You just have to know your social security number, your filing status, and your refund amounts. All right? And one final thought here, definitely make choices in your life so that you don't rely on your tax refunds for day-to-day necessities. All right? That's all I got. Thanks for joining me. If you found this video helpful, please smash the like button. And if you're new here, again, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you're returning, I appreciate you, love you, and have a good one.
In the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up.